Now, as the Turkish military prepares to mount an offensive on the Kurdish forces in northern Syria, popular opinion is loaded against them. In the border town of Tal Abyad, a large crowd of protesters turned up to oppose Turkey's military operations. They raised placards and chanted "No to Turkish occupation," even as the Turkish military rolled into the border camps. The protesters squarely blamed President Erdogan for deepening the Syrian crisis.
وسقط مئات الآلاف من الضحايا وتدمر مدننا وقرانا، وهو كان السبب في تعميق الأزمة السورية التي نعيشها اليوم. إخوتي أخواتي، منذ بداية الأزمة ونحن لا نعتمد إلا على أنفسنا ولا نستقوي ظهرنا بأحد. لم نسلب حريتنا إلا بدمائنا.
The protests also reached Washington, right in front of the lawns of the White House. Dozens of pro-Kurdish protesters demanded that Trump reverse his policy on troop withdrawal. They declared support to the YPG and the Kurdish Women Fighters Unit, both of whom were instrumental in the war against the Islamic State terror group. Some protesters warned that the operation would not end in Syria and would extend to Iraqi Kurdistan and Turkish Kurdistan as well.
If the war starts, like if Turkey gets into like northern Syria, it's not going to be limited by just with Syria. The Kurds in Turkey, the Kurds in everywhere like in the world, they're not going to just like watch everything silently. It's just the war is going to spread out like in the Turkish part of Kurdistan and Iraqi part of Kurdistan. And we are not going to watch Turkey just like do whatever they want. And we want the United States government, especially the president, to think wisely and to review his decisions and to make a wise decision that will help like the region and just will bring peace, not chaos and more casualties, more death, more pain.
TRT's correspondent Shamim Chaudhry now gets you a ground report straight from the Turkish border. Take a look.
We saw dozens of convoys and busloads of Syrian National Army fighters crossing into Turkey and being transported along its southern border towards where the operation will begin. Now, the convoys were loaded with all sorts of weaponry, Humvees, guns, ammunitions, a whole range of heavy weapons and materials that they will be needing in the coming weeks. Now, the reason why all this crossed into Turkey is because in order to get to the east of the river Euphrates, the fighters would otherwise have to cross into YPG-controlled territory. So, of course, that is not an option. So this was a very clear sign that the operation is indeed imminent. And, of course, we know that the Turkish military itself has been mobilizing its units, both personnel and military hardware, into strategic positions. At the moment, they are about 3 kilometers or so from the Syrian border, the closest point that they will be until the operation itself starts. Now, we've been hearing since the weekend that it could start any day now. There has been a delay for a few days. During that time, we know that US troops have been pulling out of the region where the operation will take place. But certainly it seems now that we are closer than ever. From what we understand, it's really just a question of getting the green light and then the operation will commence.